Hello and welcome to another video. So you can see how I've been in Jungle Rant for 20 minutes or so. That's 20 minutes trying to make a Hel video. You know. So, Hel. For Season 4, Hel is meant to undergo a couple changes, and I'm going to describe why they're awful and they are actually a nerf, probably. So, first of all, we need to understand Hel scalings. At the moment, I don't know her scalings off the top of my head, so you're gonna have to forgive me. And instead I'm using the Wikipedia. So, the first ability scalings are pretty simple. 50-30 and 30-50. So, in other words, they're okay. She has okay scaling on her 1. She has no scaling on her 2 though. And her repulse, or her spire, whatever you want to call it, has some interesting numbers attached to them. 70, 5, and then 30. What Harris is trying to say to you is, hey, you're a warrior mage, you don't scale very well. Anything that's above 70 for magicals, I would say is good scaling. Anything below that is not so much. And that's mainly due to how magical power works, which you can buy a lot of magical power very, very quickly, so that means the higher the scaling is, the more you get in return, which is just flat out better. So, there is that to keep in mind when building gods. But a lot of people don't seem to do that. A lot of people just seem to build Hel full mage and then wonder why she dies. I see people building Book of Thoth, and honestly it's not that bad. But it's not that great on Hel, especially when you consider what she can do. So let's have a look at this from a mathematical standpoint and look at it. So 70 plus 60 is almost the same as the mana you've just gotten, which means you can gas 1 extra ability. Actually 2 extra abilities. When you have a look at the 10 mana you gain per stacks, that's nice. Honestly, it's rather good. But the extra power you get is around about 22. And you have 122 magical power plus boots. You don't scale well off the magical power. Yes, the mana is nice, but it really doesn't make much sense. You are trying to alleviate Hel's mana consumption problems with this item. I would argue there's better items for it, honestly, and let's just go over why. So I would probably go with something like Breastplate Valor, or something that has cooldown, or something that gives you mana regen, because honestly, it's just better. Being able to spam your abilities, especially your wave clear or your heal on a much shorter cooldown, is just going to keep you alive longer. There is no right way around it, honestly. So that's why you see my Hel build as something like this. Please note I don't actually play Hel that often. But I built her like this because A, she's very, very squishy, she has full wave clear, she needs her abilities up as often as possible. She doesn't scale off of power, so that's how I do it. So the changes they've done to Hel are somewhat interesting. And in some cases they are a buff, and in some cases they are nerf. So let's start with the 1. Currently how the 1 works is it will fly, and then it will stop. What they've done for this is they've made it so it will pass through minions, especially on the dark version, which honestly is a good change. That means she has much safer time clearing wave, because she can just throw this out and she can clear wave, which is good. Because before, how you would clear wave as Hel is you would throw the 1 and then you do the 3, and anyone that's been in lane will tell you that doing this is incredibly risky, because all someone needs to do is basically stand near the wave, the minions then aggro onto you, and then you have to switch stance and heal. And because Hel is so squishy, they are likely to kill you. This is why Hel had really bad wave clear, because she struggles to clear wave even at this level. Right, I'm not clearing wave properly, not realistically, and I've got 2 items. No, I've got 3 items. So at this stage, in fact, that's actually demonstrated nicely. So this is what it would look like
Always wanted.
with actual items. Let's just demonstrate. Oh, look at that! I'm struggling to clear wave. I would have to switch stances and then just use a crap ton of mana. This is what Hel's problem is. Yes, her wave clear is just incredibly risky, and it's just not that strong. What has done is they've made it so that the free heal is not a burst heal for, I think, allies, but it is a burst heal for you. And then they've made it so the 1 is a burst heal if you hit an ally. Yeah. So Hyros has made a minor change to the heal on the 1, which doesn't really make sense. They've made her wave so better, but they've made a minor change to the 1. And then they haven't fixed the problem. Yeah. So they've changed the 1 so it's a burst heal, which I guess makes it easier to play against Hel, because you can no longer just go, oh, and then just heal again when her cooldowns are up. But it doesn't make her better. And honestly, as soon as Hel heals, you just want to jump on her. You just want to try and whack her as often as possible. Try and get the cleanse out, and then you just basically want to focus her. Given how a lot of people don't build defense, you should be easy to kill. But people seem to struggle with this concept for whatever reason. So, they've made it so the free... Carrying on from this rant, I guess. They've made it so the free is a time over a dot heal. So it impacts over time. Which is okay. They've just changed the healing numbers on it so it's actually weaker. And they've made it so that you don't get... I think they've made it so you get a burst heal, but I can't actually remember. I'm honest with you. So they've basically made the fight ability slightly more complicated and longer, and made the 1 slightly more complicated and longer. Have they fixed her mana consumption problems? No. Like, not at all. Honestly, she still has stupidly high mana consumption problems, which I will show now. Normally this is how Hel clears wave. I have to use 3 abilities to clear wave. Actually 4 abilities. And by that time I've used a lot of mana up. And you can see here, even with Soul Stone and 5 stacks, I'm still burning for a lot of mana. Let's take the poke, do that, there we go. And now I've managed to burn through a lot of mana. So... And if you take into consideration that I would be getting poked at this time as well... Yeah. So... They haven't actually fixed the problems with Hel. They seem to have made some changes which makes no sense at all. So, yeah. So in some cases they've actually made Hel worse, which is just ironic. I have no problem with the nerfing of the Hel, because the Hel honestly was just garbage. Like, look at that, it's the scaling on it is garbage, the heal amount is garbage. And I have no problem with the changing to D1 to you have to hit allies, because honestly, fine. But she's still worse than Aphrodite because she doesn't heal as much as Aphrodite. Or is she better than Aphrodite? And she still has to hit the target. Like, trying to hit an ally with that is going to be an absolute pain in the backside. Compared to Aphrodite, who just has to link someone and then she has to then heal them. Or Chang'e, they just need to be nearby. So, I don't know, the Hel changes to me seem like a nerf. as opposed to a buff. They haven't actually solved her problems. They've neutered her when I don't think she needs to be neutered, especially given how they've added a crap ton of anti-heal, like a lot of anti-heal. I get what they were trying to do, which is they were trying to limit healing, and they were trying to make it so sustain was just for you, which honestly I'm somewhat fine with. But then I would be looking at, instead of having number percentage healing, instead of having number healing with scaling, I would make it so it's percentage based. That's just me. So out of combat you heal for, I don't know, 5% of your mana, 5%. In combat you heal for like 50% of your health or something silly like that on a 20-second cooldown. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm not really looking forward to the Hel changes, if I'm honest with you, because they don't seem to be that good. And they're not going to make her viable, especially given the conquest start that is currently prevailing in Season 4, which is go to lane, clear wave, and Hel struggles to clear wave, and then go and get your buffs, because honestly it's just going to make Hel a lot harder to use, because anyone in their right mind, especially if Hel's in solo lane, is just going to go straight to that mana buff and invade it. And if she's in the mid, they're just going to go and steal the red. And then they're going to come back to wave and then just bully Hel. So, yeah. I'm not looking forward to the changes in Hel. They've made her, in my opinion, worse. And I don't play Hel. There are some items which are good for Hel. Like, there's a lot of cooldown items and items which will make her actually a better warrior mage, but they haven't actually fixed the fundamental problem with her. I honestly feel high-res what they need to do is they need to have
we could hurt someone with
item
that.
sets for certain gods and universal item sets for every other god. So specific defense items for warrior mages like Hel, specific offense items for warrior mages like Hel, specific counter items for mages like Hel, and then you do that for guardians, warriors, and hunters and assassins. I think that would probably be a better way of balancing it, because at the moment it seems like they're balancing the items around the gods as opposed to the gods, which is a bit weird, especially considering how there is a lot of gods which I would say are borderline over the border of balance, in my honest opinion, especially when you compare them to their peers. So, you know. Anyway, that's just me, someone who hasn't had access to PTS, just rambling about Hel and how I think she's just garbage still. And I probably won't play her in Conquest. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll try and get a video on Hel solo lane, but I don't expect it to be good. So, thank you for watching, see you again next time, and have a good day.